What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to The Breakdown, the series where I analyze gameplay to help you improve. In today's episode, we're going to be analyzing a Domination gameplay on the map Core by Omega Man 654. Let's get into it. Alright, so unfortunately, for this gameplay, there was no indication of his class that he's using, so it didn't actually show up at the beginning which class he used. I think that part was cut out. But we can see he's using an AK-12, and he has a grenade launcher as well. And I'm assuming he's using Danger Close. It just seemed like it, the way that the tubes were killing. But I'm not 100% sure on that, so I can't really give too much as far as class recommendations, because I don't know exactly what he has. But let's start it off with the opening rush that he decided to use. So he pushed right through the middle and tried to challenge B head on, which is not a bad choice for this map. There's a bunch of great flank routes, but with an AK-12, you can definitely challenge that middle because you have the advantage in a lot of those long-range gunfights. Also, I like that you really use the tube to your advantage when you rush to this middle route. So you first came out with your gun, you were ready for a gunfight, and then you came back out with the noob tubes ready to go. I'm sorry I call them noob tubes, it's just a force of habit. But this is actually kind of tactically using the tubes in a sense. So you come out, you just take a peek, fire your shot, get back behind cover. I like that you dash back behind cover, and then you come out and take your second shot. I really liked how you handled that situation. Now, once you did jump onto the B flag here, which was pretty good, you jumped on when you had a little bit of map control, your teammate was pushed up there. When you aimed down sight and tried to pan over towards where this enemy was, you had a pretty good indication of where that enemy was. I could tell you did. You knew he was here right. And instead of just quickly panning over while you're not aiming down sight, while you're in hipfire mode and you can spin really quickly, you aim down sight and then slowly panned all the way over. And it looks like you're using probably about a 5 sensitivity. I could be mistaken. It's somewhere down there. It's definitely on the lower end of the sensitivity range. And when you aim down sight, in order to do a 90-degree turn, it takes way too long to react to somebody. You've got to be turning in these situations while not aiming down sight. It allows you to basically turn on a dime even with a lower sensitivity. So moving ahead to when you just spawned in here, you call in your bombing run that you just earned. Now I really want you to pay attention to where he's calling his bombing run in right now, and where he is in relation to the bombing run that he's placing. As you can see right now, there is one direction that he needs to run to avoid his own bombing run. Unfortunately, he didn't go that direction. He ran right underneath where his bombing run was coming in, and because of that, it actually ended up killing him. And another thing I wanted to point out that also could have avoided death for him, he could have called it at the exact same angle, but just spin it around so that it comes in starting on the enemy side of the map. Because if you notice, when it does come in, it comes on the map very, very quickly for him, but it takes a while to get all the way over towards his enemies. Instead, he should have flipped it around and had it coming from the enemy side of the map first, which would have given him plenty of time to go whatever direction he wanted to avoid his own bombing run. Plus, it would have come on the map faster and started killing his enemies faster, giving them less time to react to it. So it's a relatively minor thing, and honestly, it happens to the best of us. I kill myself with bombing runs every now and then, so it's not something to really worry about too much, but something I definitely had to point out for the series. So skipping ahead just a little bit in the gameplay here, right here is where I first noticed that you are somebody that doesn't really pay too much attention to your minimap. And I get that it can be difficult, especially for players that just aren't used to it. It can be a hard habit to break. Basically, not looking at the minimap can be a hard habit to break. But especially when you have a UAV up, you should be able to see it sweeping in your peripheral vision on the minimap. Every time you see it sweep, just take a really quick glance over towards the minimap. All it takes is like a millisecond. It really doesn't take that much time at all. A lot of times, I don't even notice I'm doing it. It's just an instant reaction. It should just happen instantly. Have a quick peek at your minimap. And in this particular situation, it would have earned you a free kill. It would have been such an easy kill because the enemy that was showing up on your minimap, he seemed to be completely clueless. Alright, so skipping ahead again, this is something that I really like that you did here. This shows great patience and playing to the strengths of your gun. You're losing the B flag right here, but your teammates are pushed way back into their spawn. They don't have any map control, and they aren't there to support you right now. So realistically, with the AK-12, it looked like there was multiple enemies on that B flag. It wouldn't have been an extremely smart idea to just rush onto the B flag and try to defend it, because you probably would have just thrown your life away, and you were actually getting pretty close to streaks there. So it would have been a really dumb move. So I like the patience And I also really like that you got out of that situation. You realized that you no longer had the advantage in that situation because you had fired your unsilenced gun, and at least a couple enemies knew exactly where you were and were in a good position to challenge you, since in that little choke point that you're standing in, you don't have any cover and they have lots of potential for cover. So you backed out of there and you didn't challenge those guys, which was also great restraint there, and it kept you alive and kept your streak going. So that pretty much wraps it up for all of the things that I really wanted to point out with this gameplay. I know this was a shorter episode, but with this gameplay, there wasn't really a ton of things that really stood out as something that I really wanted to talk about and share with you guys. So we're just going to keep it a little bit shorter rather than try to basically bloat this episode with useless information and stuff. So if you want to send in a gameplay to be analyzed by me, keep in mind I'm also accepting Black Ops 3 beta gameplay as long as it is HD quality. And I am typically looking for more unexceptional gameplay where you're not completely just stomping on enemies all game or something like that. I want to see a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of struggle with the gameplays. If you want to send that to me, just upload it to YouTube and send me a link to that YouTube video to the email address that's in the description below, and I'll have a look at it. It doesn't mean I will 100% for sure be breaking it down, but I always have a look at every single submission that's sent to me. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.